This time on The Spark, the art of creating the next generation of playwrights. Coming up on The Spark.
The Spark is produced at Riverview Studios, an award-winning digital video production facility, creating programs to help clients motivate, educate, and inform their audiences.
Closed captioning provided by Ryan James Agency. Full service in digital advertising. Strategy and creative with gusto. Relentless about results. Find them at ryanjamesagency.com.
Additional considerations provided by The Vault Authentic Wood Fire Pizzeria. Contact them at thevaultpizzeria.com.
Greg Nanni is a playwright, comic book writer, and marketer living in the Philadelphia area. His one-acts have been staged by various companies, and you can also see Greg on the YouTube series Bar and Tavern, which will be released this fall. And Greg joins us now. Thank you, Greg. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me at this great place.
It's a brave endeavor to be a playwright. What led you to this work?
I think that when most people want to start writing, there's like a layer of like, oh, I used to run away from who I was when I was a kid. And then I think when you get older, you kind of want to get back to more of like why you ran away. And I think that's a lot of what attracts me to playwriting.
Do you mean by that it gives you a chance to be other people, to experience other things?
It gives me a chance to sort of explore why I wanted to be other people and chase other things. Yeah, and I think that playwriting for me is kind of like just a journey in general, just to find out who you are. And I don't think I have a tough time like being able to be like, I know who I am. So instead, I write to learn that, and it's been pretty helpful. So yeah.
You bring in a lot of other voices to help you out,
Yeah,
all your characters.
I do, yeah.
We were talking about one of the plays I got to read of yours, Scream America 2.
Mm-hmm.
Fascinating play, and it's very, goes through, well, you tell me, what did you intend to do with that play?
Yeah, it was a play that I wrote. I was doing an exercise where basically I was like, I'm not going to structure anything, so I'm just going to write. It ended up being a play about relationships and about the relationships of a generation from like the very beginning of adolescence until when they're dying and the ending, the great ending.
The great ending. It has a lot to do with sort of, to me, and this is what I got, is that the expectations and the high ideals of the adolescent love. And then when it's dashed, how just devastating that is. And it was amazing because I'm picturing two actors. That's how you wrote it,
it's
right?
Two actors,
being all these different people in different relationships through a whole, sort of the whole trajectory of a lifespan.
Yeah.
It was really fascinating, I have to say.
Yeah, and it's a lot of it, I think, is about how we disregard each other very quickly if you're not a sort of a matched idea of what we want of each other. Right. And a lot of that sort of comes to, like, the lovers come to term with it as they get older, and the fear of death is coming closer, and the realization of like, now I'm realizing what's really important. And the tragedy is like sometimes we find that out too late.
That's right.
Yeah.
And not to, spoiler alert, but I mean, that feels like that's what resonated in my heart as I got to the end of that play. I just thought, wow, I didn't see it staged.
It was done in Asheville, North Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah, it was great. The actors did a really cool thing where, because I had it done in stage readings in the past in Philadelphia, and they would have like a lot of movement and stuff like that. And with this one, they were like rigid, but they just talked very fast, and all the lines came out very fast. And apparently, from what I heard, it was like the favorite of the night down there. People were laughing. They had to slow down because of the laughter, which is a great
That
note.
is a great sign. That's what you want.
Yeah,
There's no doubt about that.
But yeah, I think it's done very well, and I'm hoping that it'll keep get little legs and go around the area. So yeah.
Good luck with that. So you have a number of irons in the fire in this whole, dramatic arts more than anything, through comedy, but you're talking about plays, screenwriting. Going back, when we mentioned your YouTube series, Bar and Tavern,
Yes.
and that's premiering in the fall.
It is. We had some first test episodes air last year in the DigiFringe down in Philadelphia, and now we're actually just airing the majority of the season, and then we're hoping to release it right afterwards. But yeah, it'll be the full versions of the first 4 episodes.
That's an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
I know that, classically TV shows go before focus groups and such, but you're putting it out there and just
It's pretty much
kind
going
of
out there, yeah. And we find that we get a lot of different input, because the first time that we did it, we basically used it as a focus group because we had people take surveys right after they saw it. It was really mostly test footage. That's actually what we have right now up still. But yeah, and people were overall very positive about it.
That's excellent.
Which is great, yeah.
So we have a clip
Yeah.
from the pilot, which
Absolutely.
is Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
and why don't we take a quick look at that?
So anyways, what do you do?
I'm an equestrian.
A lesbian? That's cool. This music is really romantic.
No, an equestrian. Didn't you see my riding boots?
Candy, I agree 100%.
Did you just call me?
In a certain light, nuclear war is totally appealing.
I'm a pacifist.
That's great because I'm a sadist.
What?
I'm a sadist.
Well, I gotta say, how fun is that?
Yeah.
You look like you're having a great time.
Yeah, and it's funny. It all takes place in a barn in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. That was actually already we pre-built it basically. But man, on that day it was a very cold day.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
and the heating in that area is kind of crazy and all over the place. But yeah, I think we sort of managed to make it work. So yeah.
Now that piece was scripted with improvisation as you went, or it was totally
as we went,
scripted?
we kind of just cut it down. I don't even remember what the first draft looked like because I think it was wildly different, and it was also the first time when we were really sitting down to write each other. Lee and Lawler and myself, who we co-wrote together, and yeah, it was a journey. So there's a lot of fighting,
Yeah.
but overall, I think
About content or process?
content, yeah, process, also camera angles, things like that. But yeah, we're very happy with it. So yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. What do you hope to do with the show? I mean, do you want it to be sort of the Cheers of
Yeah.
seriously, the Cheers of today, because it's coming across in a new way, watching media in a way that's going to appeal
Yeah.
to
I think-
younger viewers, clearly.
The ultimate hope, I think, is to sort of show off the kind of humor that we're really into, and hopefully to create future seasons, and also to create an outlet of okay, now we've done this, we can open up to different ideas as well and do possibly different series. So the ultimate dream would be we have a small little studio of ourselves of just YouTubers in the area, and we all kind of work under one channel, but that would be a long time down the road. So
That's just an exciting thought. What strikes me about the ultimate vision that you described is that it's not to be on television. It's not to be picked up by Showtime or HBO, or
Yeah,
did I miss that?
no, there's a lot I think to do about it with that it's online. And I kind of like the fact that it's online because it's viewable by anyone and at any time of day. And I think that since a lot of media, especially in that format, it's 6-minute episodes, 8-minute episodes, it just works a lot better digitally.
Sure.
And yeah, we don't want to restrict people. So yeah, how everything will sort of turn out in the end, we don't know. So it'd be great if it got picked up somewhere.
And then developed, and then you'd have to make it
Yeah.
at least a half hour.
Yeah. I think there's enough content in there for a long series. But for now, we just want to have as many people see it and then see what can happen next. That's cool. Yeah.
So do you try out ideas for your playwriting on the YouTube series? You get to maybe put together a dynamic between a couple of characters so you can see how it plays, or vice versa. You work on something on stage and you say, wow, that would work great on my YouTube series, or hasn't it developed to that point yet?
Usually it's, so basically how I develop ideas is that I'll be hit with like a couple of images or something like that. Usually when I'm listening to music, and then I'll just try to make a story about it, and then I'll think about what medium it works best in. Because I also write comic books. Like certain things work with comic books, certain things work with film, and certain things can only work on the stage. And my opinion is that, like, if it's in that medium, there has to be a reason why it's in that medium. They can't be done anywhere else. So that's sort of how I approach my ideas. And sometimes they'll sort of, something that we try in Bar and Tavern may leak, may go away from Bar and Tavern and go into a play that I write in the future. Yeah, there's some crossbreeding, but usually there's not as much as you would expect. It's kind of strange, though.
Yeah, you make an interesting point about the medium and how the story should fit it in a certain way. What are you working on now? We only have a few more seconds left.
Sure. Right now I'm working on a new comic book series called The Emoda Man with Johannes Vick. It's a story about a serial killer in a post-global warming future where water levels have risen 20 feet and America has decided to save New York City by building a giant sea barrier around it. And a lot of it's just sort of finding out what's keeping New York City above water. And it turns out there's a lot of dark materials happening. So.
Very imaginative.
Yeah.
But not comic.
Not.
I mean, it's comic, but it's not funny.
It's more, it's much more serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a range, Greg Nanni.
Yeah, I try to be so.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Yeah.
So just ahead, Patrick Lillis and The Farm.